The FSU Seminoles take all the wind out of the Miami Hurricanes in a big win in Miami. And the Gators getting ready for LSU, and a lot of smack talking going on. And in the NFL, only one Florida team distinguishes itself. It's the Miami Dolphins, doubling their victory total for last year. That's our subjects today on Game Face with our good friend, the sports addict, Gary Fineout. Gary, how about FSU going into Miami and blowing them out at least in one half?
At least in one half. Yeah, it was a wild game. Wet, sloppy, a lot of weird stuff going on. I don't think I've ever seen a punter shoot it out of his own end zone. But in the end, FSU managed to pull it out through a combination of a lot of different types of trickery, if we might say.
And the FSU offense, much maligned in the early going of this season, really finds itself, but then it's got to hang on, the whole team, for an incredible second-half comeback almost by the Hurricanes.
Well, right, and there were a lot of things that went wrong and a lot of things that kind of contributed to Miami coming back, not the least of which Christian Ponder, the quarterback, throwing it deep out of his end zone straight into the hands of a Miami defender. But it was special teams actually was probably the bigger problem.
Well, how about this, though? FSU's on track. Miami off to a very disappointing season, but you still kind of like this Hurricane team. That young quarterback, Robert Marve, I think great things are coming from him.
What I would say about that Hurricane team is I think they're a year away from being a really solid national contender. There are a lot of young players, just like there are a lot of young players on FSU, but Miami looks like a team to contend with probably next season.
Let's move on to the Gators. The Gators beat Arkansas pretty badly, though it looked a lot closer if you were watching the game, the whole game.
Well, without a doubt, the Gators the last 2 weeks have had some serious problems offensively. They've got some players like Harvin who do wonderful things, but you just keep wondering when are they going to get it back to that gear that they had last year?
Well, I think, though, they have not played up to lowered competition, but they've got the big game coming up with LSU and already bulletin board material. Ricky Jean-Francis, or Jean-Francois, depending on where you're from, talking a lot of smack, saying that he's looking forward to putting a hit on Tebow. Is that right?
Well, obviously, no, it's not right because you're going to give the Gators a reason to be fired up. The game's in the swamp, so Florida has every reason to be motivated for this game. But I'm going to tell you, LSU right now, to me, looks to be one of the best teams in the SEC.
Well, let me just put Ricky Jean-Francois on notice. Number one, you're getting this penalty flag and more coming in Gainesville, but you're going down. The Gators will roll in the swamp.
If you say so.
I do say so, Gary. You're damn skippy. Moving on to the NFL. Only one Florida NFL team, the Miami Dolphins, back-to-back win against San Diego with a great offense for the Chargers. The defense shows up for the Dolphins, too. They're on a 2-game roll. Amazing. The tuna factor.
The tuna factor, without a doubt. This defense has spunk. This offense is giving both now the Patriots and the Chargers problems. I'm amazed. I thought that you couldn't run college-style offenses in the NFL, but so far I've been proven wrong. And I'll just tell you right now, the Dolphins, hey, they are in the hunt for the AFC East.
And how about Chad Pennington? This guy, the most precise passer in NFL history. What a gift. What vision by the Dolphins leadership to bring this good guy veteran into camp. He's a real leader on the field.
Well, Pennington always knows how to manage a game. Always a great, accurate passer. What I would say is the Wildcat offensive formation that they've thrown in kind of throws in that little tweak that they needed because everybody knows Pennington has problem going deep.
Buxton Jaguars, disappointing this past weekend, but still look to have a good season.
Well, I think the Jags have these offensive problems. They are schizophrenic. One week the running attack is just blowing people away. The next week they just can't get it going. The Bucs, well, okay, Greasy goes down, Garcia comes in. I think they played well against Denver, but they're a question mark.
All I know is the Fins are starting to roll. Okay, folks, that's this week's Game Face with our good friend Gary Fineout, the sports addict. Hope all your teams win. We'll see you next time on Game Face.